Good morning, students. Welcome to Chanakya Academy online classes. Standard 10, Subject Science, Chapter number 6, Life Processes. Let's move to the next topic. Yes, so today we'll see that how the transport of water takes place within the plant. Okay, so in xylem tissue, vessels and trachea of the roots, stem, and leaves are interconnected. Okay, what are they? They are connected and interconnected to form a continuous system because they are interconnected. So, it will be a continuous system of water conducting channel reaching all parts of the plant. Okay, so as they are interconnected and they are forming a continuous channel, so water will be given to each and every part of the plants. Okay, so as the root at the roots, cells in contact with the soil actively take up ions. Okay, this we have done, that roots are directly connected with the soils and from the soils the ions are taken. Okay, this creates a difference in the concentration of these ions. Okay, so there is a concentration difference outside, that is in the soil we have more concentration of ions. So from the soil, the ions will move into the root cells between the roots and the soil. Water therefore moves into the root. Water, where it is moving, moves into the root from the soil. Okay, from the soils, the root is moving to eliminate this difference. Okay, so as the concentration is different, so along with them the water is also moving. This means that there is a steady movement of water into root xylem, creating a column of water that is steadily pushed upward. Okay, so what is there? There is a continuous movement from the roots. The water continuously move upward. From root it will move to stems, from stem to branches, then to leaves. So there is a continuous movement and this movement is upward. What it is? The movement is upward. Okay, this we know. Yes, let's move. However, this pressure by itself is unlikely to be enough to move water over the height that we commonly see in plants. Plants use another strategy to move water in the xylem upward to the highest point of the plant body. Okay, so what they are telling over here is they are telling that the water is moving from the root to the tip and this is in the upward direction. So how this force is generating? So they will be having some other strategy, some other mechanism by which this force or this upward movement is done. Okay, so let's see what they are talking about. They are saying that provided that the plant has an adequate supply of water, the water which is lost through the stomata is replaced by water from the xylem vessels in the leaves. In fact, evaporation of water molecules from the cells of the leaves create a suction which pulls water from the xylem cells of the roots. Okay, so what they are telling over here is they are telling that in our leaves, okay, we have stomata, and when the stomata are open, water in the form of water vapor is moving out. Okay, So we can say there is a gap in this cell because the water has moved up. So that cell will take the water from the cell which is below. Okay, so what it will do, it will suck the water from the neighboring cell. Okay, then this neighboring cell sucks the water from the other neighboring cell. So what is happening here is that a suction is created which allows the water to move in upward direction. So this is the suction. Okay, what it is? It is the suction which helps the water to move into upward direction. And why this suction is happening? This suction is happening because of water vapor movement from stomata. Understood? So stomata, it is open during daytime, and as the stomata is open during daytime, continuously water will move out. So as the water will move out from the stomata, in stomata the concentration will become decreased, or we can say the molecules. Okay, the molecules of water get decreased in stomata. So to fulfill its demand, it will take it from the neighboring cell. Okay, suppose this is the stomata. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, suppose this is the stomata. Okay, and here what is happening, continuously water is moving out. So in this stomata, water is moving out, so concentration of water gets decreased. So what it will do, from the neighboring cell it will take the water. Okay, now in this cell the concentration of water get decreased, so it will take the water from the neighboring cell. Okay, and now in this cell also the concentration get decreased, so it will take the concentration from the neighboring cell. So what is happening, a suction is creating which is moving into upward direction. Okay, let's read it again and then you will be clear. Provided that the plant has an adequate just a second. Yes, provided that the plant has an adequate supply of water, the water which is lost through stomata is replaced by water from the xylem vessels. Okay, so whatever water which is lost from stomata, it is given by the xylem vessels. Okay, the vessels which are just below them in the leaves. In fact, evaporation of water molecules from the cells of the leaves creates a suction which pulls water, okay, from the xylem cells of root. Okay, so from the xylem cells the water will be absorbed or sucked. Okay, the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is known as transpiration. So what it is called as? It is called as transpiration, the loss of water in the form of vapor. Okay, it's from the aerial part. Okay, from the stomata, the water is continuously coming out in the vapor form. That's water vapor. So this phenomena or this process is called as transpiration. Okay, so thus transpiration helps in the absorption and upward movement of water. Okay, so this transpiration which you see is the main movement which is happening in plants. Okay, so transpiration helps in the absorption and upward movement of water and minerals dissolved in it from roots to the leaf. Okay, it also helps in temperature regulation, the effect of root pressure in the transport of water is more important at night. Okay, during the day when the stomata are open. Okay, in daytime we know that the stomata are open. The transpiration pull becomes major driving force in the movement of water in the xylem. Okay, so we know that. Now what they are talking about, they are telling that water is moving from roots to leaves. Okay, but as it is moving in upward direction, there should be some pressure, there should be something which allows the water to move in upward direction. Okay, so what is this? This is simply the transpiration. Now what is transpiration? Transpiration is the process by which vapor is lost from the areas. Okay, this is the exposed area. Okay, so from the exposed area, continuously water in the form of vapor, it is lost. Okay, and this transpiration helps in movement of water molecules into upward direction, because there is a loss, and this transpiration is taking place during daytime. Why? Because during daytime stomata are open, and as the stomata are open, water molecules in the form of vapor is continuously moving out. Understood? Sure? Yes. Let's move further. Now they are talking about transport of food and other substances. Now till now we have done with xylem. Now comes to phloem. Okay, xylem is carrying water and ions. Now the food which is prepared, that food also we need to transport. So that is transported by phloem. Okay, let's see. Yes, so far we have discussed the transport of water and minerals in plants. Now let us consider how the products of metabolic processes, particularly photosynthesis, are moved from leaves where they are formed to other parts of the plant. This transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is called translocation. Okay, so now what they are talking about? They are talking about translocation. So what is this translocation? It is the transport. What it is? It is the transport of soluble products. Okay, and what are these soluble products? They are the products of photosynthesis. And from photosynthesis, what we are getting? We are getting glucose. So glucose need to be transported, and this transportation is known as translocation. Okay, so transport of food is known as translocation. Understood? Let's read it. This transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is called translocation, and it occurs in the part of vascular tissue known as phloem. Okay, so translocation, that is the transport of the soluble products of photosynthesis. It is translocated with the help of phloem. Okay, let's move further. Besides the product of photosynthesis, the phloem transport amino acid and other substances. So what is being transported? One is the product of photosynthesis. Along with that, some of the amino acid and other substances are also being transported with the help of phloem. Okay, let's move further. This substance are specially derived to the storage organs of roots, fruits and seeds and to growing organs. The translocation of food and other substances take place in the stave tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells both in upward and downward direction. Okay, now in phloem, I know you have studied phloem cells. Okay, a phloem is a tissue. It is made up of different cells. So with the help of that cells, the phloem will transport food as well as amino acid. Okay, now this phloem can transport either in upward direction or downward direction. So this is very important point, children. Just listen. Xylem will transport water and minerals in one direction, that is in upward movement. Okay, from roots to various parts. Okay, so it is only a unidirectional movement. But phloem, it will transport food and amino acid in either upward direction or downward direction. Okay, so phloem is a bidirectional element or tissue, you can say, and xylem is a unidirectional element. Understood? Yes. Now let's move. Unlike transport in xylem, which can be largely explained by simple physical forces, the translocation in phloem is achieved by utilizing energy. Okay, so we know that it is in upward and downward direction. So this direction will require energy. Okay, so energy, when we are talking about energy, energy will always be in the form of ATP. Okay, so minerals like sucrose is transferred into phloem tissue using energy from ATP. Okay, so just I'll again read that line. Minerals like sucrose, okay, is transferred into phloem, okay, phloem tissue using energy from ATP. Now see sucrose, what it is? It is a complex molecule. Okay, so after photosynthesis, this also I have explained you. I'll just recall it quickly that after photosynthesis you will get glucose. A long chain of glucose molecule will come together and it will give rise to a molecule called sucrose. Okay, so what is this sucrose? Sucrose are the complex compound. Okay, and that glucose which are not used by the plants, they are stored in the form of sucrose. Okay, this we have done. Okay, so just remember these things. Sucrose is the stored carbohydrate in plants. So all the extra glucose is stored in the form of sucrose. Okay, now what we have to do is, now this we have to transfer. So first of all, it is being stored either in leaves. Okay, so from the leaves it has to be transferred. So where we will transfer it? We will transfer it into phloem tissue. Okay, from sucrose we will transfer it into phloem tissue, and when we are transferring it, the energy will be required. Okay, so energy will be spent here when sucrose will be transferred into phloem, and this phloem will move and it will store that sucrose wherever they want to store. Okay, yes, now let's move further. This increases the osmotic pressure of tissue, causing water to move into it. This pressure moves the material in the phloem to tissue which have less pressure. Okay, so now what is happening over here? When sucrose is moved into phloem tissue, energy is used. Okay, and when it is using energy, what is happening? Osmotic pressure gets increased. Okay, now what is this osmotic pressure? I'll just explain you in very short way. Okay, like we know that inside the cell we have water molecules. Okay, and these water molecules tend to move when the concentration is different. Okay, that means what will happen? Here the water molecule concentration is more, so from here the water will move over here. Okay, so when the water is moving, after some time there will be a pressure applied on the wall, and this pressure will not allow all the water molecule to move into the other cell. Okay, so this pressure is called as osmotic pressure. Okay, and what this osmotic pressure is doing? It will not allow the water molecules to move into neighboring cell. Okay, so when the sucrose is transferred to phloem tissue and ATP is utilized, there is an increase in osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure get increased. Okay, of the tissue, causing water to move into it. Okay, so when the pressure gets increased, water molecule will move inside it. Okay, and this pressure moves the material in the phloem. Okay, so due to this pressure, water moving inside, and when the water will move inside, phloem, that is the material which we are talking about, that material will move into phloem. Okay, and where it will go? It will go where the pressure is less. Okay, and like this they will move upward or whatever direction it may be. Okay, this allows the phloem to move material according to plant's need. For example, in the spring, sugar stored in roots or stem tissues should be transported to the buds which need energy to grow. Okay, now see, what they are talking about here is that this food, okay, phloem, what this phloem is doing, this phloem is transporting the food, and where the food requirement is more, in that direction only the food will travel. Okay, now see, one example they have given here ki during spring what we have, this is suppose a tree. Okay, this is flower. Okay, and this is leaf and this is root. Okay, I'll explain you with a small diagram. Now the food is stored in, suppose I'll say yeah, okay, excess of food is stored in the leaves. Now what is happening is during spring the flowers grow. Okay, this we know. Okay, during spring the flower number gets increased and they grow very fast. So the energy requirement or the food requirement in the bud will be more. They will require more energy because they have to flower. So what will happen during spring season? The food from the leaves will be moved towards the area which is near to the flower. Okay, so all the food will move to this direction into upward movement. So what is happening? As the pressure is created, the food will, as the demand, okay, is there. Okay, I'll just explain you with the term demand. Okay, so as the demand of food is more in flower, the food will translocate, or the food will move into that region. Okay, so in xylem, the movement is seen like this. It is either upward or downward. Okay, one more I'll explain you the example. Like we know that from the seed, okay, suppose this is the seed, the plant will give rise to, okay, it will grow, okay, and it will give rise to the leaf. Okay, so when the germination is going on, okay, from one leaf, now it has become 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and like this the leaf will get increased. So here when the photosynthesis process is taking place in this, okay, so from here what will happen, now it will grow into big tree. So what will happen, from this region the food will move to that region where it is growing, it is dividing, and it is increasing in length. So whatever food which is prepared, it moved to that area. So what is happening, it is moving from one area to another area. Okay, I'll just read this content again. Okay, a material like sucrose is transferred into phloem tissue using energy from ATP. This increases the osmotic pressure of the tissue, causing water to move into it. Okay, this pressure moves material in the phloem to tissue which have less pressure. This allows the phloem to move material according to the plant's need. So wherever the needs are there, that pressure will be created, and according to the pressure generated, the food will be transferred. Okay, for example, in the spring, sugar stored in roots or stem, wherever area it is stored, okay, the tissue would be transported to the bud which need energy to grow. Okay, so wherever the sugar or sucrose is stored, okay, maybe either root, stem, or leaf, wherever, whatever regions they are stored, okay, so from there it will transport, okay, it will be moved. Where it will be moved, it will be moved towards the bud. Okay, and that bird will get the energy and it will form flower. Okay, so with this we have finished with two important topic of plants, that is how in plants the transport of water is taking place, and how the transport of food and other material is taking place in plants. Okay, so this is again a very important topic. Study well and make notes. The difference between xylem and phloem you should know now, that the xylem is unidirectional, phloem is bidirectional. Okay, you should know, okay, transport of water is done with the help of xylem and transport of food is done with the help of phloem. Okay, so with this we have finished with transportation. Tomorrow we'll again come and start with the next content, next topic, and again we'll study them. So, with this, I finished with today's lecture. Study home, do your work properly, do your homework, give your test, and please utilize your time. Thank you. And yes, one important, if you have any doubts, please tell me and message me. If any confusion in questions or content is there, clear your doubts here only. Don't carry it with you. Okay, thank you.